I need Breeze to throw 2 picks and under 230.
All right, I think if he throws 200 yards and even isn't picked off once, it's still a bad game. But you also got to look. When he played San Francisco, another team that's good at ball hawking, he got picked. I mean, this is Breeze. He has only 12 picks, which is pretty good. But again, he's gonna commit. Breeze will get picked off at least once.
Twice. At least twice.
No, not twice. I'm sorry. Are you really going to go with this Eagles secondary having 2 picks? I don't trust this Eagles secondary to have 2 picks.
I don't either. I'm saying they'll have 1 pick, but I think they can hold Breeze. And I
can agree with a pick. I can agree with 1 pick.
If this game is a shootout, the Eagles win. That's a straight up fact. If this game gets the possession for possession, the Eagles have more weapons, and Chip Kelly has more ways to score.
Are you sure about that? Weapon-wise, if this is a shootout, this is the way the Saints thrive, if you ask me. If you get rid of defense, comes offense versus offense, and Drew Brees is doing what he does in a shootout, I don't know if I want to pick against New Orleans, but I don't think that matters. I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Also, I do. This is going to sound like a very, very silly thing to bring up. You should know that New Orleans has a kicker who has played 2 games all season or 1 game all season, and has just been signed because they cut their old kicker, compared to Philadelphia, who has Alex Henry, who's a stud kicker.
Okay, I'm telling you, New Orleans is not making is making 1 field goal according to my prediction. You get 16 by they're down 21-10. They score a touchdown, and they fail 2-point conversion. Trust me, I know this team is lacking at the field goal kicker position. Oh, and in Philadelphia, where it might be snowing, I'll check on the forecast on that. I'll put my weatherman hat on. Listen, kickers might be more important than we think. In this game, I don't know how much this is an effect this is going to have. And by the way, I don't know how we ignore Brandon Boykin. Are you telling me that you're not afraid of Brandon Boykin, who has 6 picks on the year? You're not afraid of D'Amico Ryans, who has 127 tackles on the year? There is fear. There are players to be afraid of on defense. You want to talk about Trent Cole, pretty underrated guy. Connor Barwin, a presence on the defensive line. This is a better defense than most people think.
Okay, I understand that name-wise, you think a good team, but Jake, you are the numbers guy, and their numbers against passing offenses are not good. They have picks, but the quarterbacks, the majority of those picks came in a few games. I think the D is slightly underrated. I will agree with you on that. I just don't feel confidence in the numbers.
All right. Well,
if you want to talk about numbers, then how about we look at the Eagles, who have the top-rated offense in the league, against the Saints, who are 19th in defending the run. The Saints, who are 25th on running the ball, and you said that Drew Brees doesn't even need to have a good day.
Okay. All right. Also, here's one more thing to look at. The difference. There is a difference between. I mean, scoring defense obviously has to be looked at as another way to look at it. Because scoring defense, the one thing that does worry me is New Orleans, while not great in yards per game, they are at only 19 points per game. That's the one thing that worries me, because they are 4th in the league in defense per game. So in scoring defense, New Orleans can win this. This is why I don't think this. If this is a close game, New Orleans has a better shot. If this is a shootout, I think Philadelphia wins. A close game worries me. But I don't think that's happen. Not with these 2 offenses. Not with these 2 offenses, this game's not a close game.
If we're talking about if you want to talk about what Drew Brees has done on the road, 12 touchdowns, 9 picks, he's been sacked 20 times, and that isn't going to get any easier considering he's facing a very strong Eagles front 7. Completion percentage drops 10% from what it would be at home. 500 yards less. There is a difference between Drew Brees at home and Drew Brees on the road.
Okay. Jake, so you're saying about the numbers and the underrated defenses. Well, how do you explain having the fourth worst defense in yards per game at 394 per game allowed overall? And then,
but that's yards, not points. You have to realize that.
I understand that, but yards eventually do contribute to points, and though New Orleans...
Yes, the yards contribute.
No, that's right.
New Orleans...
ability to force field goals.
New Orleans is the fourth best. New Orleans is the fourth best, 305. And that may be because they are good against passing and not so great against rushing, but you do need to have a sustained passing offense. And, okay, let's go to points per game. We'll go to points per game. For Carl.
Here's
Philadelphia.
Wait.
Currently Philadelphia sits at 20.
That's 5 points, right? That's 5 points per game. It is 4.9 points per game difference.
4.9 is a lot. That's from the fourth best to the 17th best.
Yes. It is. 4.9 is a good margin, but you have to realize when you look, I don't believe that 4.9, that's a one score. And in the playoffs, home field advantage is worth a score. I'm not a person who likes home field advantage. I've said that again and again. But
that's a mistake.
Weather is important. Obviously, I think weather is a very, very significant thing in this game. And a score, a touchdown, 4.9 points is not a lot of points. That is a touchdown. And with this home field, with Philadelphia, and with these terrible weather, I'm assuming that's going to be in Philadelphia. It's going to be below freezing, almost definitely. I'm not sure on snow. But Philadelphia, I believe, is just set up better to win the game if it's set up like that. If it's a close game, I see them pulling it out just based on that. Even I see this game as Philadelphia to lose, truly.
Okay, so with that, we're going to go to last word. And Carl, you've talked a lot, so we're going to start with Jake first. So last word, Jake.
First of all, word to Carl. About the weather, I have put my weatherman hat on. And in Philadelphia, it's going to be a little ice and some rain. 46 degrees, actually. Not below freezing, but to be honest, I don't think the weather matters too much in this. The New Orleans Saints are still a passing offense, not a running offense. If they want to win games, Drew Brees has to show up. He hasn't done that in the road. And because of that, I am picking the Eagles to win this game. No disrespect to Drew Brees and Sean Payton. This is going to be a great coaching battle. Watch for the blitzes in this game. These are two very tenacious defenses. It'll be fun to watch. And we'll see which team's offensive line can hold up better.
Yeah, and Carl, now your last word. What are your final thoughts on this matchup?
My final thought is, with all the factors I've mentioned, Philadelphia is one of the more important things in the playoffs. I believe they are a better team all around, and I expect Nick Foles to come out in his first playoff game and prove why he is the starter in that offense. And then a little self-promotion, because I didn't get a chance to do it, and Jake reminded me so sweetly. Go follow me on Twitter, @Carl_PM. I say a lot of stuff. I make a lot of comments. And then I get in Twitter fights with Jake. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, and so my last word. Well, first of all, so when you do the points per game, yeah, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But when you just look at the total points, just Philadelphia, it's not really what you want. They have allowed 382 points. 382 points to New Orleans 304. So when you look at it that way, it does make a really big difference. There we go, difference. And they've allowed 382 points. They have put up 442. 442, that's just around 27.7. So if you're doing how close it is, that's only about a 3-point difference. So it's not that much. And our next matchup, for the Sunday games.
Next matchup, San Diego and Cincinnati.
Okay, so...
Shall I kick it off?
Yeah, go, Jake.
Sure.
You haven't kicked it off yet, so...
All right. I'm going to read directly from the article I wrote for National Sports Radio. About what we talk about the website much. NationalSportsRadio.com. We write articles too. We talk about our own shows, pieces on it. So yeah, check out. Don't forget to check out NationalSportsRadio.com. An article I wrote about the Chargers Bengals. Cincinnati hasn't won a playoff game since 1990. This is the third year in a row that the Bengals have made it to the wild card round. Lucky for them, they don't have to play against the Texans. This time they get to play in Paul Brown, where they have been undefeated this year. They are top 5 in the league in both opponent passing yards per game as well as rush yards per game. They are also 8th in pass yards per game. If this wasn't enough to tip the scales in their favor, they held San Diego to just 10 points earlier this season. The Chargers crept into the playoffs on a hot streak, however. Everything that needed to go their way did, and as a reward for winning their final 4 games, they played the Bengals. A little fun fact, by the way, the last 4 Super Bowl winners all played in Philadelphia's home opener. This year, San Diego played in Philadelphia's home opener, but this is where the magic ends. I don't think the Chargers stand a chance. The Chargers will lose in the most Chargers-y way possible, find a way to have a spectacular catastrophe. Rivers throws at least 2 interceptions in the second half. The defense falls apart. Someone fumbles a double-digit halftime lead will vanish into thin air. Andy Dalton leads the Bengals down the field to score the game-winning touchdown in the final minute. Cincinnati outscores the Chargers 15-3 in the fourth quarter, and the Bengals get the 1-point victory. Andy Dalton is victorious at long last. Cincinnati 32, San Diego 31.
Jake putting on the Oracle hat, calling it. I'm going to agree with you. You know, you look at the numbers, just straight up what you see when you go on their homepage. They are 8th in passing yards. That's a top 10 number. 18th in rushing yards. Sure, not a terrific number, but 110 yards a game. I'll take that. You go to opponent passing yards, 209 only. That's 5th best and 5th best in rushing yards. I like that. I like those numbers against San Diego. Rivers. They are the 4th highest in passing yards, and I think Bengals have the advantage, as you saw earlier on in the year. 13 rushing yards. I'm sorry, Ryan Matthews, you had a great year, but I still don't trust you over the Bengals defense. And then you go to opponent passing yards. San Diego 29th. If that puts confidence in your mind, you are out of your mind. Opponent rushing yards 12th. That's about 108. That's about what I expect Cincinnati to do. The 29th, it just writes them off for me. I think San Diego, like you, I think San Diego could keep it close, but 29, just not their lucky number. Carl.
Oh, I love... See, Carl's such a great guy. Sorry. I'm gonna talk now. Whoa, that's crazy. This is a very, very hard game for me to pick. Harder than I think most people would consider this game to pick. I don't know. I have issues picking this game more than anything just because San Diego's a team that I was rooting for so hard last time. I'm watching the Chargers, the Packers-Bears game, and I'm literally checking for updates on the San Diego game. It was kind of crazy. But I come back to this a lot. And I come back to this, I don't know if it's too much, but there's just the fact that San Diego is -4 in turnover margin. And again, it's not even big numbers. I mean, they've only turned over the ball 21 times, but they've only taken it away 17 times. They've taken it away roughly once per game, while Cincinnati has 31 takeaways, including 20 picks. 20 interceptions by the Bengals, and sure, you can always talk about opponents and how they probably had a bunch of those in certain things, but I don't think that's the case with this Bengals defense. I think they truly do deserve the credit for having a great 31 turnovers, that's a strong amount of turnovers. When you talk about Phillip Rivers, he's having a career year. Keenan Allen, probably rookie of the year. Top 2.
Rookie of the year?
Rookie of the Keenan.
Did you really just... No, Eddie Lacy.
Dude, that's the problem.
Eddie Lacy by miles. Eddie Lacy by miles.
No.
Okay, no, Jake, let me do this, because I just calculated the numbers today. Had Eddie Lacy